Together unscripted, baby, that's our way. In a life that's messy, we love and laugh each day.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in for another episode of Together Unscripted, Love, Laughs, and Leftovers. My name is Dan. This is my beautiful wife, Jenn. We figured this week we're going to talk about how we got started on our health journey, the trials, tribulations, what worked, what really didn't, that kind of stuff. So it was late 2018.
It was about this time of year.
About this time of year, yep. It was right before Christmas. One day I was just looked in the mirror and I saw a heart attack. I didn't see a big fat guy. I didn't see anything else other than a heart attack victim and me leaving my kids without a dad, which that's what I think bothered me so much, was because I lost my dad at 19. I don't want kids to go through that.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't even think we realized how big we had gotten.
No, because we honestly thought we were eating pretty healthy. You know, we hadn't had fast food in a good 5 or 6 years at that point.
No soda.
We didn't drink soda. You know, we home cooked. We really didn't eat out a lot. I mean, 4 kids, lots of activities. There wasn't opportunity or honestly budget to really eat out often. So, you know, we ate at home a lot. But no, we thought we were doing pretty good. But
that
looking
day,
at it, we were both at our heaviest.
Right. Oh my God. Woof.
Oh my gosh, at that time.
Yeah, but looking in that mirror that day, that's what gave me like absolute anxiety. And I think that anxiety is, I started researching diets, which I hate the word diet, because diet just means you're restricting yourself, which that's not what I was looking to do. I just knew there had to be a healthier way to eating. And, you know, I looked up the South Beach diet, keto, came across Dr. Phil's diet, which at the time, Dr. Phil was a big fat guy. Like, give me a friggin' break. I'm going to listen to this tool, this bald-headed fat ass. I'm not listening to you. Didn't make any sense. So I was getting discouraged because I kept coming across basically the same thing, just we
had tried so many of them too over the years and had
mild success, rebound, rebound. It sucked. So
nothing was long-term sustainable.
Yeah, I ended up coming across ancestral eating, which is the Primal Blueprint, and it made sense to me as a scientist. It wasn't just theory where they make crap up. It was scientific study, how the body works, how the toxins in the food affect the body, things like that. And what made it click with me is the gentleman who started it. He was a triathlete in his younger years, and he talked about how even though he was a triathlete and he was in phenomenal shape, he wasn't healthy.
Right.
His stomach always hurt. He always had a headache. He was always sore, chronic inflammation, crabby. And it made me think back to when I was a bodybuilder in my early 20s. And it was the same thing. I was in phenomenal shape, like 5-6% body fat, the V-taper, the big legs, the big chest. But my head always hurt. I always felt like I was going to throw up. I was always sore. I was always in a bad mood. Always had brain fog. I couldn't find words. And never put 2 and 2 together that it was the food that I was putting in was messing with all the pathways in my body. So, so when we started to dive into it in earnest, you know, I found it and I realized that we're not going to be successful unless her and I are on the same page. So I presented it to Jenn. And I mean, what do you think it was about it that made you say, you know what, let's go this?
Yeah, because we really did. We looked at it together. I mean, you know, you did the initial research, but when you showed it to me, I would say it was the simplicity of it.
Okay.
You know, like it wasn't hard. You really didn't have to count calories. You didn't have to count points or do this or that. It was just really, it just came down to it. You were eating real, as natural as possible food, but learning to why you shouldn't eat loads of sugar, which you know, we realized we were carboholics.
Holy crap.
We were eating healthy.
I mean, I was addicted to orange juice. I used to get cravings for it late at night before bed. And I wouldn't just have orange juice. I would have orange juice. I wouldn't have like a 6-ounce glass. I'd have a pint of orange juice. And I'd down that in 5 seconds and I'd go straight to bed, not realizing it was the insulin crash that helped me fall asleep. Correct. But it was also the reason why I slept like complete shit.
You weren't getting that deep restorative sleep.
Never. No, I always woke up tired. Always woke up crabby with the huge black circles in my eyes every time. I mean, what was it? I mean, you used to get the shakes like a meth head. Like you just...
Oh my gosh. If I did not eat by a certain time, or if I started to get hungry and didn't eat, within like a certain time frame, I'd get like shaky and hangry.
It was
I would
clearly an addiction.
Hangry.
You were detoxing from an addiction. Is what it looked like.
It
That's
really
what it looked like to me.
Because I would start my day with like a bagel and cream cheese. I would usually have some sort of a sandwich or grinder or something for lunch, and then, you know, with 4 super active kids, we ate pasta a few times a week.
At least 2 or 3.
And I would probably polish off maybe half the loaf of Italian bread before you got home.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and so reading the Primal Blueprint and the simplicity of I don't want to use the word diet, but the simplicity of the lifestyle, but also the simplicity of what those ingredients were doing to your insides. You know, creating that oxidative stress, creating that inflammation that you can't get rid of. I was pre-diabetic, you know, when we came across this, again, we were both at our heaviest. You were on like, I don't know, 7 or something different
6 or 7
medications.
Yeah, 4 for blood pressure, 2 for cholesterol, and something else. I can't remember. Something else that was caused by a side effect of a drug, so I had to take something that was bad.
The drug to help the drug that,
Yep. Modern pharmaceuticals.
But yeah, you know, being pre-diabetic, I had never been in that type of position. I mean, I always had, you know, great metabolism, and but learning what those ingredients, what the carbs and the sugar, and the carbs are sugar, and you know, we really didn't do a lot of processed food, but I mean, some canned stuff.
At least that we knew, we didn't do a lot of processed food, but then we realized that almost everything we bought was processed in some way. All bread is processed.
Yes.
All pasta is processed.
Yeah.
You know, when you start looking at your cooking oils, your canola, your vegetable oil, your seed oils, they're the worst thing for you. When you don't realize, like, it's just a cooking oil, so what? Some of these oils were actually started as industrial waste.
Right.
And these companies didn't want to throw it away. They had to figure out, how do we sell this and make it palatable? Well, some jerk scientists figured out, take this stuff that should be thrown away. We're going to bleach it, deodorize it, and process it a little more so it doesn't smell rancid, even though it already is. And then you're freaking cooking in it.
Yep.
That's where Crisco came from. The original lard in a can, that's where that came from. That was industrial waste. They just packaged it to you and lied to you about how that stuff actually worked. Yep. And when you look at when the obesity epidemic started in this country, when did it start? Right around we started getting all this processed food.
Probably about like 10, 20 years after.
When margarine showed up, when all this crap showed up. It's not edible. It's not meant to be eaten. So the body fights it. That's where the inflammation comes from. That's where the oxidative stress comes from, because your body's going to try to detox itself. And then over time, you're actually making yourself completely unhealthy with tons of inflammation, retained water, and that kind of
And learning too, you know, what those, you know, you were super heavy on carbs, super heavy on sugar, the inflammation, and how many modern day diseases come from
just inflammation,
chronic inflammation.
Yep.
It was eye-opening and scary.
Very much so. Yeah, I agree.
Right. Like
we looked at, there was a lot of stuff it messes with your mental state, messes with your happiness, it messes with your sleep, it messes with all the pathways in digestion, which is why you have digestive issues, which is why you got to take Tums all the time. It messes with the blood-brain barrier, so things are getting in your brain that aren't supposed to be in there. Yep. All sorts of stuff that you're like, why do I always have a headache? Well, there you go. So when we started this in earnest, after we went through the cupboards, and I realized that 90% of the stuff we bought, we couldn't buy for us anymore. No. You know, once in a while we'd give the kids a treat. Like, they still love Pop-Tarts. We just didn't buy them nearly as often. No. I was a Pop-Tart addict. I used to love taking, opening the s'mores Pop-Tarts, putting peanut butter in the center, and eating it like a sandwich. It was a fat kid's dream. And now looking at it, I'm like, what the hell was I doing? Holy crap. So gross. It's nasty. Well, you used to eat the strawberry ones. I don't want to hear crap. Those things are
frosted strawberry
filthy, disgusting. Oh my God.
My favorite. They had to be toasted.
Gross.
I don't even think I could, like,
can't even smell it now.
Can't
even smell it now.
The thought of eating one now is actually nauseating.
And we feel that sometimes with people who offer us a dessert when we're at their house, and just the smell of the sugar and everything else.
Oh my gosh.
You know, we just say no thank you, because if I eat it, I'll be sick for days, but I just won't eat it. So another hard part for me was giving up beer, because if you're giving up processed grain, well, guess what beer is? It's fermented processed grain. And since all 99.9% of wheat in this country has glyphosate in it, and it's the Roundup resistant shit, you don't even realize that you're putting that in your system and your body fights it. So, I gave up beer. Ugh, that was hard. Gave up beer, any kind of alcohol for a while. Actually, we were pretty straight on alcohol. I think almost 6 months before we had any. And then, we were introduced dark red wines and spirits back in. A little bit, not a ton. Moderate, very, not even moderate, very little.
Right.
But, when in the first month, I think we lost each about 10 pounds.
It just melted off.
Yeah, within 6 months, I had lost like 30. I think she had lost 20. And then after 9 months, I had lost,
I think it was 60, 65.
I lost 60, almost 65 pounds. She lost almost 45 pounds. So combined, we lost almost 110 pounds. And people, just couldn't believe it. And what did you do? And how did you do it? And when we explained it to them, they're like, well, that feels like it's a lot of work. Well, yeah, because the entire American diet is filthy disgusting.
Yeah, unfortunately, the standard American diet really is just...
The farther away something is from nature, the worse it is for you.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, you have to wonder, why in the grocery store is there one
health food aisle
or natural food aisle?
Yep.
Like, okay, so then what's in the rest of the crap that's in the other aisles?
Like, if you read kids' cereal, it's absolutely hideous. Snacks, even Gatorade now. Gatorade used to be salt, sugar, and one other thing. Now it's like 7 or 12 ingredients.
Yeah.
McDonald's French fries, I mean, we used to say this, it's not too bad. We used to eat this stuff as a kid. So once in a while, we get the kids at McDonald's. When we were kids, McDonald's French fries were potato, beef tallow, and salt was optional. 3 ingredients.
Yep,
now it's like 37 ingredients. They're all chemical. They don't even decompose anymore. If you put them outside on the ground, animals won't eat it. They know it's not food.
You remember after we had cleaned, it would have been years since we had
Yeah, Peyton's car seat.
And we went to clean we could remove the seats from the van, and there was a French fry.
There was multiple French fries, and it looked like we just bought it.
Yeah.
It was freaking gross.
Yep.
So that kind of told me that we shouldn't, we
wow.
did the right thing. Holy crap.
Yeah.
But then we learned, one of the big thing, and I give Jenn a lot of credit for this, is we would take recipes that we liked and then find the ingredients we shouldn't have, and she quote unquote primalized it. I mean, if you want to tell them a little bit about that.
No, it was. I mean, once we learned what not to eat, but not so much what not to eat, but why we shouldn't eat it, then it was honestly really easy to eliminate those things, or replace them. I really thought giving up pasta and bread was going to be hard. And
Not at all.
I was shocked I didn't miss it. Because I didn't miss the shaky. I didn't miss the crashes.
The bloat.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I think the first time that we went someplace, we brought, I learned how to make celery root pasta. Which was actually pretty good. We were both very surprised.
Right.
I make a really good bolognese sauce, and we did that over the celery root, and it was actually it was pretty good.
I mean, I remember when I first started, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go let my doctor in on this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I went to see my cardiologist, and he started arguing with me. Now, this is the same guy that for 2 years told me I had to lose weight. Well, I told him exactly how I was going to lose weight, and then he started arguing with me. And, quite honestly, in earnest, yelling at me. And I just sat there why the hell is he upset with me? And then I realized it's because the exact way of eating I'm showing him is going to get me off of all of my meds and give me a reason to not see him anymore. He wasn't worried about my health. He was worried about losing a client. Not a patient, a client. Because I would affect his pocketbook.
Yep.
So that's why he was so hell-bent on me not doing it. And that actually convinced me even more that, I'm onto something if the cardiologist is yelling at me. And then I went to my general practitioner. Younger girl was both of our doctor, actually. And I told her exactly what I wanted to do. And she said, I'm only going to support you in this if you come see me every 90 days and I can take your blood. And I can take levels of everything. Within the first 3 months, I had to be off my cholesterol medication because my cholesterol
changed really quick,
went so low. She was like, holy crap. Well, and guys, if you didn't know, cholesterol is where testosterone comes from. So if your cholesterol is 160, you don't have enough testosterone in your system. And that might be the reason why other crap's happening. Low testosterone is the cause of about 10,000 different disease states. So 100 years ago, or not even in the 50s and 60s, 300 cholesterol is considered normal.
Yep.
But now they're not going to make any money off you if your cholesterol's 280. So they say, oh, new standard, 200. Now you got to be on a drug, which doesn't prevent heart attacks whatsoever. We're not going to say the names. I don't want to get in trouble, but figure it out.
Do your research.
Do your research. Statins are garbage. Anyway, going through, and then once I got the doctor on board, in 3 months I was off my cholesterol meds. In 6 months I was off my blood pressure meds. Mm-hmm. And then in 9 months I lost 65 pounds. I was like, holy crap, we're on something. But we were so excited that the Big E was coming up, and we had been so good. We'd eaten so great. And then we're going to the Big E, and I was jazzed because the Big E to me is about the historical stuff, the state buildings, and the food. I don't care about the rides or
we went for the food.
Any of that stuff. We always go for the food.
We used to drop the kids off at school in the morning and zip up there midweek because it wasn't as busy. Quiet. Yep, middle of the day, and then be back home to pick them up.
We'd play hooky, go spend the day, and then come home. They'd be none the wiser. And they didn't want to go to do the stuff we did anyway, so it worked for us. But I was so excited. I'm like, I'm going to go have a lobster roll. I'm going to have a fat baked potato, and I'm going to have some beer today. Because in my head, I still hadn't put together that beer is going to make me sick. And
I wanted my pumpkin beer.
Your pumpkin beer, yeah. And I had 3 pints of IPA, which is 48 ounces of beer, which is basically 4 cans of beer, a lobster roll on normal bread, and a potato, which is a starch bomb. And I was sick for a week. My stomach hurt so bad. I was stomach sick. My head hurt. I had brain fog. I could barely think. I had no patience. And we realized, like, oh crap, like
what we realized, it was solidified what we had been doing was really working. We had never honestly felt better. Within the first 30 days, again, the weight kind of melted off,
right away.
But the sleep and the energy, really, we saw such a drastic difference in that within the first month. Yeah. And so after the Big E, we were just sick and just
irritated as hell because I realized I could never have beer again if I wanted to stay healthy. But that's okay. But it's also funny because we'll go out to lunch or dinner with friends, and there was one time we went out to lunch with good friends of ours, and we eat the way we eat, and they ate their normal. He had a beer and a sandwich with French fries, and I couldn't remember what I had. But we're in the car driving back, and it's 35, 40 minutes later, and him and his wife are both asleep. They both had their insulin crash, and we're both hyper and want to talk, and we felt bad, so we let them just nap in the car. But, when they wake up, they're like, oh, just having a full belly. It's like, no, it's...
Yeah,
it was what you ate, knocked you out.
We didn't have we didn't have those crashes. I mean, looking back, I would typically start my day with, like, a bagel, have a sandwich for lunch, do pasta, and realizing now I was just doing this all day with my insulin.
Yep, up and down, up and down, up and down. Yep.
Which is why, we weren't sleeping, we were irritable, constantly irritable.
I mean, I had a gentleman that worked for me in the lab I ran at the time, and every day after lunch he'd fall asleep at his desk. Right. And I would have to, hey, let's go for a walk. He's like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, no, you're not. You're drooling on yourself. Go for a walk, wake yourself up. And he swore he was healthy. He was at least 100 pounds overweight. He used to brag about the shape he was in, and he swore that being a glutton once in a while is part of being moderation. It was like, well, if you never fast, then no, that's not true. So it was, and he was a brilliant scientist, so the stuff in his head just didn't align at all. So
no,
it's kind of funny to hear some people talk, especially doctors and nurses who should know better.
You would think.
And they give you the worst advice ever. I mean, we were just in the hospital with a family member who's not eating, so he got put on a feed bag, and the feed bag is 268 grams of sugar, pre-broken down, so it's going to go right into his system. So everyone's like, oh, he seems perked up. No crap, he's high. He's got 268 grams of sugar. Holy crap. Yeah. For a guy that has stomach ulcers and all these issues, what the hell are you doing? You're going to kill him. So
ulcers, and they're still feeding him coffee and soda sauce.
And acidic stuff, so it just doesn't make any sense. So modern medicine and food do not align whatsoever. No. You could say it's a coincidence. You could say it's on purpose. That's up to you to decide, but they do not align. They just don't. If you eat standard American food, you're going to end up in a standard American hospital on standard American drugs. That's just the way it is.
That's actually a really good way to put it.
Thank you. I thought that was genius. Made it up on the spot. Thank you so much.
Right? But it's so true. If you follow the standard American diet and shop all the aisles that are not the health and natural food aisle. You are slowly poisoning your system and creating chronic inflammation, which leads to pretty much every modern day disease. Obesity,
type 2 diabetes.
Type 2 diabetes.
Type 3 diabetes. Look up what type 3 diabetes is. We're the only country in the world that still calls it anything other than type 3 diabetes. We call it dementia. It's type 3 diabetes. It's sugar in the brain.
Yeah. And, I mean, but even some forms of cancer.
Lots of them.
It really, if you follow the standard American diet, you are slowly killing yourself. And that's and then unfortunately it's the example that your kids are seeing. Which is even scarier. And
the longer you're on it, the longer it takes to reverse it. But at the same time, it is possible. So I mean, we figured it out.
You got off your meds pretty quickly. I reversed my
diabetes within 6 months. And then, now that's, after us having some decent success, we both ended up getting certified as health coaches, helping other people do the exact same thing. And it's mind-blowing what information people have, what little information they have about how they're properly supposed to eat, but what misinformation they have about what they think is healthy and what isn't. It's absolutely backwards. And keep thinking about it. Why is it like that? Well, we were taught the food pyramid in school. We all thought that fats were the no-nos and red meat was almost a no-no, and then just eat grains all day. It's absolutely backwards. Start with the proteins and the fats, and the grains should be the hardly ever, if any. So, I mean, what do you think is one of the big misconceptions out there about, because people say, well, you lost weight. Oh, it must be nice. But I can't do keto for a year, which used to blow me away. It's like, we're not doing keto. We still eat carbs. We just don't eat them in grain form. We eat them in vegetables. I don't know anybody who eats meat and vegetables as their primary diet who's fat. It's impossible. So, I mean, what do you think was the big misconception when we both got certified? What people came to you with? It's what they thought was healthy and what wasn't.
I would say, like now, when a client asks, what should I eliminate first? Seed oils. Like, you really don't realize the damage, the oxidative stress that those are, that seemingly harmless ingredient is doing to you. It's causing, wrinkles, early aging, oh my gosh, gray hair.
Cognitive problems.
But the gut issues, and our gut is our second brain. So if your gut isn't healthy, then it causes brain fog and which can lead to dementia. But I would say the seed oils, canola oil and vegetable oil and Crisco.
Yeah, for me it was
people are like, oh, like you can't cook with bacon fat and lard, like that's not healthy. No, actually it really
we
is.
do it every day. We do it every day.
Like, ignore the commercials that tell you canola oils aren't healthy.
The healthiest I've ever been is when I would have 3 or 4 eggs with 3 or 4 slices of bacon every day for breakfast before I left. That was the healthiest I ever was. But now for my big mix,
you would go all day.
I could.
You would drink. You would hydrate throughout the day.
I would do my protein in the morning, and I'd leave. I'd hydrate all day because I worked outside, and I'd come home for dinner, and I would have 2 meals a day. Yeah. And that's when the weight was falling off.
Yeah.
But the big misconception I came across with my clients was they thought that diet soda was okay because it was diet.
Oh, yeah.
Having no idea that it actually does cause an insulin reaction, because the body sees the sweetener, even though it's not really sugar, and it makes you eat more because the body is tricked because you haven't put calories in your system, so now you actually eat more than you would if you had regular soda.
Correct.
But it's
addictive.
It's extremely addictive. It's like crack. But also the big one for me was the people that would have like 2 green smoothies a day, thinking that, oh, well, I have a smoothie, and then you look at the smoothie, and then you look down, and
they're sugar bombs.
It's absolutely pure, almost pure sugar, and it's like no wonder you like it and you're addicted to it. It's a sugar hit, not healthy whatsoever. So
people don't realize how many calories they drink. That is definitely something that I see a lot with clients.
That's where I start with.
They're like, oh, well, I eat this and I eat this and I eat this, and it's like, okay, but there's still something missing here. What are you drinking throughout?
Yeah, one client I had who he swore he was in great shape, and I asked him why he came to me, but His big thing was he'd have 2 cups of coffee in the morning with cream and light and sweet every day from Dunkin'. I mean the fatties. So he'd have coffee light.
This much sugar in the
It's disgusting. He'd have light and sweet, 2 light and sweet coffees a day. He drank soda during the day, and he drank beer at night.
Yep.
And it was like, you're drinking anywhere from 700 to 1,500 calories per day, and you're still hungry. You know, you should be eating about 2,000, 2,500. Well, if you're throwing away 1,200 of it on your drinks, then you can't get enough nutrition in your system to actually be a healthy guy.
No.
So it just, you said blow my mind. You know, but to be able to get people to the point where, you know, I always started slowly with people to say, all right, this week we're going to cut one thing. We're going to cut soda out completely. You can drink plain water, flavored seltzer with no sugar in it, and see how you do. A week or two later, okay, great, remove something else. So we did it cold turkey, which...
We did. So like we came across this, it was about this time of year, so we just wrapped up Thanksgiving, we just celebrated Christmas, we were heading into New Year's. We didn't really plan to do it as a New Year's resolution. It was just the timing of the year that we came across it, and we were like, you know, all right, let's start January 1st. We put a meal plan together, went through the pantry ahead of time. Doing pantry purges with clients too is very interesting.
Yeah, when people realize how much money they had in their pantry that they really shouldn't be eating, and how they got tricked into it, it was disheartening. It's like either give it away or
it is.
You know, if it's not open yet, give it away. If it is open, take the first 2 weeks before we start to indulge in whatever you're going to indulge in, because you're not eating that shit anymore. So,
right.
And we had some people that fought us along the way, but we had some who fell right in and did really well. So, you know,
you make those adjustments. You do it. You know, you do it at a pace. You know, if somebody wants to go cold turkey and just dive right in, awesome. You know, but you know, kind of give them some precautions too.
Yeah, the first couple of days, your head's going to hurt. You're going to be tired. You're going to be crabby.
Yeah, because your body,
you're going through detox like a drug addict.
Yeah, you really are. You are detoxing your body and removing all of these toxins, but your body's still craving them because you've been feeding it for toxic crap for so long.
Right.
But no, I mean, we had such great success through it. Lost a ton of weight, and it wasn't even the weight. I mean, yes, we definitely needed to lose weight, but
no, that wasn't even my goal at first.
It was
but then when it started to come off, it was great. It was the health and the sleep.
It was the overall health
and energy.
I
knew I was always tired.
Sleep.
Yep.
We weren't irritable. You know, that was
not whatsoever.
No. And you felt good. And I one thing too is, so 2019 was when we dived into it. Now, you know, a few years in, I think the change that we made then definitely helped me ease into this wonderful perimenopause stage of life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's no way to, you can't, you're not going to avoid, sorry ladies, but you're never going to avoid it. And you can't,
but you want to make sure it doesn't hit you like a freaking freight train either.
And it literally can.
I know.
I mean, I've you know, definitely talked to plenty of women who it does. It hits you like an absolute freight train. I actually saw a meme the other day. It was so funny. It was, your daughter hits puberty at the same time that you hit perimenopause. I was like, oh gosh, ladies, if you are in that stage.
God bless you.
I mean.
God bless your husband.
Thankfully, our daughter is older. Once I hit this stage, so we weren't both going through some severe hormonal changes together. But you know, you can't erase or eliminate the symptoms that you have when you enter into perimenopause, which you can start as early as 35. I learned, but I definitely think it helped with the symptoms. Like they're not as severe.
Right.
Definitely not as severe.
Thank God. Holy crap. She can go from sweating 1 minute to she's freezing cold the next, that she has to lay on top of me because she's cold again. You know, she's so cold. And then within 5 minutes she's sweating on me, and then she rolls up, throws all the covers on me, and then she goes and opens the window in the dead of winter. It's, oh my Lord.
It was 8 degrees the other day.
We're driving with the window open because she's having a hot flash. Good times.
Oh, he laughed at me because we were actually in the grocery store last weekend, and I did want to sit in the cooler for a minute.
That's fine.
But no, I think it definitely helped. So I'll dive into that more in another episode. But,
but I mean, for us to be able to learn about a new way of eating, incorporate it, learn enough about it so that we get certified and help other people, we did all that within 9 to 12 months. And it's not nearly as difficult as people think it is. It's just once you start, you can't start and stop, or you can't do it half the time or 80% of the time. Because most people say, oh, you know what, as long as I follow 80% of the time, I should be fine. But the reality is they're only 80% into it, but they only do that 80% of the time. So if you're only 80% committed to the actual things you're supposed to change, and you only do it 3/4 or 80% of the time, then 80% of 80% is really 64%. Well, then you're not going to have the results you think, and it's going to take forever to go, this crap doesn't work. It works. You just have to take it seriously. You have to be committed to it. I mean, you
have to be invested in yourself. Really.
Which to me, the Big E was the proof for me, because as soon as I reincorporated that stuff in my body, I got sick. My body couldn't handle it because I had already detoxed, and I reintroduced everything all at once. And my body's like, dude, bro, what are you doing? And I think my body revolted. Yeah, there was a mutiny. It didn't go well at all.
Definitely revolted.
Oh my God, I was so sick for a week. But looking back at how we did it, nothing we did was difficult. We just took it very seriously. I think that was the only. And we had a support system. When I have a guy come to me who wants to be a client, and I'm like, is your wife on board? And he says, no, I'm not taking your money. We're not going through this because
unfortunately
you don't do most of the cooking. You travel most of the day. If you're not packing your lunch, I could take your money, great, but you're not going to have success. It's going to make us both look stupid. So no, I'm not going to do that. No,
I think having a support system and the fact that we were both on board definitely lended to our success and even our long-term success. Having that supportive spouse or a friend or somebody to just help you in that journey. And really, I think it was just a decision. We made a decision. We wanted to feel better, have more energy, and we decided to invest in ourselves.
And it was a decision that came from a panic attack, and those don't normally go well, but this one actually worked out pretty well. So I was pretty happy with that. Holy crap, because you make some decisions when you're in a bit of a panic, and they usually don't go the right way. So this one worked out. So
no, I think,
Anything else you want to share?
No, just, excited to share more about our health journey in future episodes. Like you said, we did both become certified health coaches because we wanted to share the success and the health benefits that we had and have.
Yeah, you could find me at legendaryalphas.com and you can find Jenn at primalrevolutionofnewengland.com. If you ever have any questions, you want to reach out, you want to know how we did it, what works, what doesn't, or you want to talk about how we help people in a 90-day plan, please let us know.
Definitely.
We're more than happy to help, chat with you and have a discussion, see if it's something that's realistic for you. So please don't be shy. Let us know what's going on. But thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. We were happy to share, and we will see you soon. Take care.
Have a great one.